Moving
Time for some
on.
clothes.
Now, to the shenanigans, paying respect to Malcolm Jamal Warner. Uh, Now let's get to the shenanigans. All right. So when you think about it, when you think about last week's episode, um, as unfortunate as it is for our brothers not to be here, what better two under the circumstances of last week's episode than there to be me and you eye to eye with no interruptions?
Mano y mano.
Mano y mano. What better way to have it for the people tonight on tonight's episode? All right, so if this is in fact your very first time listening to the Respect the Game podcast, um, I'll also say go back and listen to last week's episode, um, titled "Back from Vacation." And yeah, last week's episode was fun. Uh, got into heated debate behind the Clipse album. Is Drake still on top? Is he still the champion? Is people checking for the Clipse? Ain't nobody listening for the Clipse. I thought it was blasphemy. You, Izzo, Black Peace weren't apparently even checking for the album, or life was just too much busy for y'all to not even be concerned with the album. Thought it was utter blasphemy. Um, you and talking to you now, the statement that sticks out to my head now is when you said last week, yo, the Clipse, one of the reasons ain't nobody checking for the Clipse album is because they're trying to brand it and market it and push it off the back end of Drake's beef with Kendrick Lamar, which I expressed how I felt about that. But since then, since last week, you as a Drake stan have listened to the Clipse album, which I applaud you for because I still believe there's 98% of Drake stands out there who still have not listened to the Clipse album. Being a
Probably.
Drake, being a Drake stan, now haven't listened to the Clipse album. What is your review of the Clipse album? Let God sort them out.
So if we're being technical, they had really good cadences, really good beats. The content for me was all over the place. It didn't have no continuity to the project, but the words that were being said, the double, triple entendres, I don't know if I really heard any triple entendres, but and maybe I could say maybe it was one or two, a few in there. I'll say it was good to hear that Malice is still good. Um, so I'm gonna say a slight better than Pusha T, but that's for y'all to debate, not me. I know what I heard, and I'm like, who is this? Oh, this is the other Pusha T. No wonder, right? So all around a good body of work. You can tell that a lot of emotion went into the album, not just skill, talent, and tactic. You know, what I have, what I would have liked would have been to hear more songs with just them two, like one of them doing the hook and one of them doing a verse, or let's say one person do the hook and then one person do the verse, or Malice do his whole song just by himself, or Pusha T do a whole song by himself. I would have loved to see that range. Do it matter? No, it don't matter because they still bodied the bars. It's just I like for the bars when they're being bodied, I like it to stack up to where it's a whole story. Like Good Kid, Mad City was literally a story about a good kid going through ish in a mad city, and at the end finding God in Jesus because of all of the turmoil that he's faced with in his neighborhood, right? Pick an album. You know what I'm saying? The Carter Three. The Carter Three was all about Lil Wayne being the best in the world and having to use that album to show people. So it's all to me. It's all about a narrative or a story, and I don't feel like. Or if you want to say that the story was, hey, we're just gonna kill a whole bunch of niggas with a whole bunch of bars and let God sort them out, cool. Say that, but it's like the beginning of the album kind of starts like a little emotional, and then towards the end of the album, they like really coming at niggas next. So it's just like, don't get me wrong, it's cool, a We're Back album, but like, I just, I just feel the way I feel. You can say, hey, it's Drake bias, but I don't. I believe there's a little bit of Drake bias, but not so much so where I can't still use my ear when it comes to this.
I think the album and talking about like the narrative of like what's the storyline of this album. For me, my ears listening to the album, I feel like the album is it's a trip down memory lane of how far we've come. That's what I get from like listening to the
We
album.
grown men now, and
Yeah,
that kind of picked up on that too.
yeah, like we grown men now. Look at all that we done and made it through, so on and so forth. And like by the grace of God, we like literally made it after all we done seen and witnessed other people like not make it. So that's the narrative I see within like the structure of the album of like let's take y'all down a trip down memory lane of like where we were and where we are now. Um,
Funny thing is, don't mean to cut you off, but when I started listening to this album, I said to myself, if I hit Kendrick on it, I'm turning it off. I forgot because I'm listening to a playlist and iTunes plays my playlist and shuffle. Anything else I play, if I'm still in shuffle, if that setting of shuffle is still on, anything else I play is gonna play in a shuffle mode. It's not gonna play in chronological order. And so, bro, I get about 9 songs in, and then I hear that Kendrick song, and now it's too late.
oh no, bro! I hate that you listen
I
to
listen
it
to
and
the rest of it because I'm like, yeah, I
no,
got
no.
this. And now
But
I'm in here already.
like the Kendrick verse is like so early. The Kendrick verse is like maybe
The
track
song is
three.
number 2.
Yeah,
The
number
song is like
two.
the
It's
second or
two or
third
three.
song.
Yes, yes. And
Because of
so
the shuffle, though, bro. I'm like, oh, okay,
you didn't
God,
get it to like nine. I wish you would have listened
9.
to. I wish you would have listened into like chronological order how they structured it. I
I ain't gonna
wonder.
lie. The order that I listened to it to was hard though. It was hard. It was tough. I'm not gonna lie.
Uh,
Especially because I know God, the grace of God is somewhere down here. Like,
Grace of God is the final track.
right. And they put that song at like song 6. And I'm like, oh man,
Mm.
they got something, bro. I ain't gonna lie.
Oh,
And then go down to 9. I'm like, yeah, fuck God, fuck the grace of God, fuck all this shit. I got Kendrick on here.
I wish I want to know what your perspective on the album would be had you listened to it for like its intended structure. Uh yeah, that's what I'm like curious to know now. How would you receive the album had you listened to it? How it was like structured for the listener. They would have
Well,
liked
I
for
think
the
it's a
listener.
good thing. I think it's a good thing because I was able to keep an unbiasedness until the Kendrick song. And then when the Kendrick song came, that's when I Darnell
Did
had
you
text something in the group chat.
did you did you know? Because like I mentioned that last week. I know we was like rah 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 last week, but I said that there was like a Kendrick verse. I don't know if you heard that, and amongst of us, like,
I did not hear that. Oh, I did
okay,
not hear that. I'm glad I didn't too, because that would have muddled over that. Go listen to it. Go give it a listen. Nah. Soon as I knew Kendrick was on a Pusha T album, I'm good on it.
but like I said, I said the album is great without a Kendrick Lamar verse. And I stand by that. And so for you to hear all you heard and be like, yo, this is a solid project, and then you get to the end. I'm sure you was like, who at that point it's like, who gives a damn about Kendrick? Like you niggas tricked me. I didn't know Kendrick
Yeah,
was on here.
and I was, and it's crazy because I had to go and look. I had to go and look, and I said, why is it, why is it playing the third song, and I'm on song 9, and I'm like, oh, because that's actually song 3. I'm on shuffle. So y'all coming in with this Kendrick bullshit is what y'all doing. Okay, okay, okay. I'm like, thank God for Poochie, boy. Between not listening where I was and the podcast, and then finally listening, that's the only thing, that goddamn podcast. And me
I,
not hearing you say Kendrick was on there.
yeah, because I text you with that follow morning, and I was like, "Hey, nigga, you better listen to the album." You actually gave it okay, did you listen to it? Because when you text and you was just like, "I listened to it, I give it a 6." Obviously, I still felt that to be egregious, and not because you gave it a 6,
Yeah. No,
but
I give it like an 8.
okay, at the time when you said 6, I was just like, bro, you only listened to it one time, and on top of that, I didn't even know you was listening to it on the shuffle. So had I known you was listening to it on the shuffle, or had we like had the time to like chop it up during the week, I would have been like, no, go back and listen to the album in order, and then you know what I'm saying. Um, but I'm glad that I'm glad that people. I'm glad we get to have this conversation, right? Because though you're somebody as my brother who I know fairly well, like to believe I know fairly well, who's very like, or can be very stubborn as you can be, you're not opposed to listening to the other side.
No.
And I think that's the problem with a lot of stands is they could give a fuck about even if it's gold that you're offering from the opposing side that hey, this information could help you or this information may be suitable for you. They could care less. They don't care. They're going to die in their standum. You know what I'm saying? And you could come off as that, but like if there's a difference of opinion that you have, I don't think you're going to always be willing to die in your standum. And I think listening to the album being like, nah, I'll still get it the fuck out of here. I'd be like, I don't like. I would feel like all hope is lost for your
That's
eardrums.
a dick rider. Excuse my language. Excuse my language. I'm sorry, y'all. But I have a I have like a cap. I have a cap on how hard I can go for someone that is not associated to me. Like there's a cap on how hard I can go for Steph. There's a cap on how hard I can go for LeBron. A cap on how hard I can go for Kobe. A cap on how hard I can go for Drake. A cap on how hard I can go for the Cowboys. I cannot go so hard where I look like a dick rider. That's just that'll never be me. It just will never be me.